Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be doing another video for my first year teacher series. If you haven't caught up with my other videos, make sure you watch those as well. I'm going to have them in like a whole playlist so that you can catch up on all of them. This video today is going to be in collaboration with quite a few other YouTubers. It's pretty cool because we are all like different types of teachers. Like some of us are music, some of us are art. I'm just like a normal second grade teacher. Some of us do like high school, just so many different areas I feel like we've covered. So Chelsea from Teaching in Pearls and I were talking, we just decided to do this collab and then see if anyone else wanted to join up, and we had a bunch of people who wanted to. So I'm gonna have all of the videos not only linked down below, but I'm going to make a playlist of all of our videos so you can kind of watch them in a row. We haven't shared like our tips with each other. We're doing top 10 tips for new teachers, if I didn't already say that, but we haven't shared our tips with each other, so we may have some tips that like kind of overlap. So I'm not saying like every tip is going to be different, but I guess you'll know if each person has like a similar tip, then it's probably a really good tip. So if you want to see my 10 tips for new teachers, then just keep watching. Okay, so at first when I decided to do this video with Chelsea, I was like, 10 tips is kind of a lot, and I didn't know how I was going to come up with 10 tips. I got my pen and I started writing down in my notebook all of my tips, and you guys, I think I could have gone on for days of all my tips for new teachers. One day I want to be a TOSA because I think my like second heart, my first heart is for my children and like being a teacher, but I think my second heart would be like helping others to be teachers. I definitely like want to be a master teacher and stuff one day. Like I just think it would be so cool, just because I don't know, that's like right up my alley. I love to be able to teach others too, not just children. So I don't know. Anyway, 10 tips is really hard, so I feel like there's gonna be tips in here, or there's gonna be more tips that I have, but they're not gonna be in this video, so I don't know. Let's get started. So my first tip is to attend like anything beforehand before starting your school year. So I don't know how other districts do it, but I'll tell you how my district did it. So we had to attend, I say had to, which I don't know if it was necessarily like, I don't think it was like you're gonna lose your job if you didn't, but it was like highly recommended and highly encouraged that you go to this 2-week long, it was 4 days for each week, and it was a new teacher academy. And so basically what they do is they teach you all these different like new things that you can do like with your class. At that time I wasn't a new teacher, so a lot of it was like review for me, but for those people who were new teachers, I mean, it was like a lot to take in, but it was very, very, very helpful. And especially for me, like seeing the way this district did it over my old district was really helpful as well. So just attend like anything you can, because you want to take in all the information that you can possibly take in to see how you're going to need to do things in this new district. My second tip, which kind of goes along, in my case anyway, with my new teacher academy, I found some friends who I like immediately latched onto. I found some girls who were at my site. None of us taught the same grade, but I found girls who were going to be at my site. I did make some friends with people who weren't going to be at my site, and those are really good friends too, but they're not as good to have as like people who are going to be at your site, because those are going to be people that you see every single day, and those are the people that you'll have like the most support from, in my opinion. So I found 3 girls that day who were at my site. We all, like I said, we all taught different grades, but I immediately we all like latched onto each other, and like to this day they are my best friends at school, and I've created such a good bond with them, and like they are the people I go to when, you know, I've had a really rough day. Find your tribe, because your tribe is going to be like your saving grace some of those days. I know there are certain times when I've gone to them and I've just had to like vent because the day has been like so bad, or I've gone to them with like successes and being able to share different ideas. So find your tribe. Even if it's not at like a new teacher academy, at least when you first get to the site, find your tribe. Tip number 3 is, a lot of my tips are going to be kind of like how to almost just survive your first year and until you are a permanent teacher. So in my district, it takes 2 years of probationary years, I guess you call them, before you are considered permanent. So I just hit my permanent mark, so starting this new school year, I will be considered a permanent teacher. Even though I've already been a teacher for 4 years, I had to start fresh when I started at my new school, which was kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. So when you are a new teacher, be willing to say okay. Like, there will be certain times when you may not like what you are being asked to do. Now, granted, it could be something that maybe you have a good reason to like fight for. If it's something that like maybe you don't like the way it's being taught and you could really truly like fight with research and say like, no, I think it should be done this way, then yes, then go ahead. But if it's something that you're being asked to do, be willing to just say okay, because as a new teacher, you never want to be the one who becomes like the challenger and like challenges everything that someone says to them. Just say okay and take it with a grain of salt. You know, maybe you kind of do it, maybe you kind of, you know, really do it. It may be a really good idea, but especially if it's coming from admin, make sure you always are like, okay, I will do that, and like go do whatever it is that they say to do, because they are going to be watching that. And you, like I said, you never want to be the one who's like challenging everything and then, or being told to do something and you're the one who never goes and does it. Question number 4 is to ask how things are ask how things are done at your school. So because I came from a different school and then I went to a new school, I was kind of like, I guess I assumed that they would just like walk me through the way things are done in every like little situation, and that was not the case. So there was a lot of things that I had to go out and find someone to ask, like even little things as in like, where do we line up for, you know, this thing? Like I had to go and ask that. It wasn't something that was immediately just like told to me. So be willing to just ask questions to anyone, especially your team. If you have a team of teachers, like ask them every little question and like just keep a running list of questions that you can ask or that you're going to want to ask, because it will come a time where you don't want to do something wrong and then look kind of silly. So rather than looking silly, ask questions beforehand. Tip number 5 is a really big one, and it's a really hard one for me even to this day, is to not take things parents say personally. So parents can be kind of ruthless sometimes, and it's with respect. Like, that is their child, that is like their baby, and like you are taking care of their baby all day long. And so sometimes they just kind of, mama bear comes out. So be willing to, or not be willing, but just understand that everything that they say, don't take it personally. Like, you will have things said to you that like you're like, holy moly, that was like mean. And not just from parents, just like from anyone kind of in your situation. Just don't take it personally. Like, if I took everything I said, if people said to me personally, like my heart would be broken all the time. Not all the time, but like quite often. My first year teaching, the like 4th day of school, I had a parent tell me I was the most uncompassionate person that she'd ever met. And I did take it personally, and I was like really, really upset about it for a long time, thinking that I was not a compassionate person and that I was not looking out for this job. But like, and then you have other parents that come to you and tell you like how amazing you are and how, you know, how much you do for their child and how much it like really makes a difference. So just don't take it personally. Tip number 6 is to always remember that admin is there to help you. So it's very easy to think that admin is like there as a bad person. Like, they come in, they observe you, they tell you what you're doing wrong. And that's something that I've had to always tell myself too, is like, they're there to help you. They're not there to tear you down. They are there to give you any support that you need. Take the support that they give and like be willing to work with them and ask them for help. They're not there to be your enemy. They're there to be, not your friend either, but they're there to be your like mentor. They're there to help you. So be willing to kind of work with them and ask them. Like, if you're curious about something, ask them how to do it differently. If they tell you they don't like the way you're doing something, ask them how they would do it, and ask them how you should change it, because they're only there to make you a better teacher. Tip number 7 is to volunteer for everything that you possibly can. Those first couple years when you were a probationary teacher, anything that comes up, be willing to just like volunteer for it. Like, I will volunteer for anything, not only because I want to like make a good name for myself, but also because I really like being involved in my school. But anything that comes up, like if it's an after school like activity, just always be willing to be like, yeah, I'll do it, because then they're going to recognize the fact that you are willing to put in effort for your school site and for your children. Tip number 8 is to get yourself a calendar and make that thing your baby. I can't tell you how many times my first like month at my new site, I would be like late for things, or I would completely not even realize I had to be somewhere because I was so like lost in all these places I had to be. Like, you have to be like at so many different places at so many different times, and it was so much that I had to get myself a calendar and just like write down every single thing. So even though I have a Google Calendar with all like the dates and stuff that the school puts in, I have to then transfer those to my own calendar so that I don't forget. And every single morning I will look at what I have like multiple times throughout the day to like make sure that I don't have to be somewhere, because it's really embarrassing and it kind of makes you look bad if you are not showing up to things or you're showing up late. Tip number 9 is to make a schedule for yourself. So I'm sure everyone has like a time where they can leave school every day, and I can almost guarantee as a new teacher you're probably not leaving at that time every day, which is totally okay. I don't leave that time every day. Like, I stay until 5 o'clock sometimes, but make a plan for yourself of what time you want to leave and just shut school off. So for me, I don't really bring work home, whether that be like after school or on the weekends. I really don't bring work home. I do stay at work late, but I don't bring anything home. So for me, if I am at school, that is like my school time. If I'm at home, that is my home time. So just make a schedule with yourself, because you have to realize that not everything is ever going to be done. You are always going to have stuff that needs to be done, and so you just have to remind yourself that you need to learn how to shut it off, or that first year you will become miserable. And my tip number 10 is to always remember that it will be hard, and if it weren't hard, then everyone would be doing it. So if this job were easy, then it'd be a really hard job to get because everyone would want it. So it will be hard, and you just have to remember that it's totally worth it. It's totally worth it to see the smiles on these kids' faces every morning. It's worth it for the impact that you are making in their life. It's worth it. So it will be hard, and especially that first year, it's going to be extremely hard. The first couple years, it's going to be extremely hard, but it will get better. And use your team to support you, use your admin to support you, use even just your best friends at school to support you, because you will need all the support you can get. So those are my 10 tips for new teachers. If you have any other cool tips, make sure you leave them down below so that other people can see your tips. And then don't forget to check out all the other videos in the playlist with everyone else's 10 tips as well. I can't wait to watch theirs, because I have a feeling that we'll all have like slightly different tips because we're all like in different walks of life. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and make sure you check out my other first year teacher videos. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to follow me over on Instagram. And I'll catch you guys in my next video.